soul family, welcome to the Spiritual Counseling TV network. My name is Christie Ramirez and I am your soul coach, spiritual influencer, and motivational speaker. So we are here for our weekly spiritual guidance of October 25th through the 30th of 2022. So first off, before I get started, I want to mention that I did not show up for Mondays because I was completing the presentation series for my Lightworker University for 2022, the Resurrection. This past weekend, I spent it filming all the content for part 3, and that was the finale of that series. So make sure that you do watch all these live events that are already available for purchase on my website, christieramirez.com/lightworkeruniversity. Very important for your soul journey because this is talking about the energy of what we are currently dealing with in an expansive viewpoint through a lens of what's happening now and how it's going to affect our long term for like the following couple months all the way until next year's Easter when Jesus rose and ascended right into his spirit form. And it's also very educative, so it's 2 in 1. It's like a lesson and it's guidance, so definitely check it out. Next, I want to also say that the quality of these videos for my spiritual guidance series has also been upgraded to 4K quality. So become a member, get access to all these exclusive content, high quality every morning. You can see crystal clear, much more than my other camera I was using before. I decided to make that little extra effort and use my professional camera also for this series because believe me, it takes a little longer to upload because of the higher quality, but it's so worth it, right? Because we want the highest quality spiritual guidance for our life journey, to stay in the light, to stay in the highest vibrations, to stay with God in his army. And so this is what this week is about. We are realizing not only these little adjustments and changes and upgrades that we can bring into our life to better honor God, but also to honor ourselves as divine children of God. And how we are also making certain postural arrangements, you want to say, so that we are better able to stay more productive and efficient with all the list of things that we need to do for the spiritual journey, for our own personal growth, and for the spiritual mission. It's a lot of things that we need to all take care of. As a light worker, it's not easy peasy. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. But we realize that it's about the perspective with how we deal with challenges, how we deal with overload, how we deal with stress even, because I feel like this is something that's definitely been coming up strong. You know, I had a lot of things to do that are creative and fun, adventurous and beautiful, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't come without the hard work. And we can choose to also accept the stress or not, or we can just be zenful amidst the stress, because there is such a thing as even good stress in good events, in life-changing moments, right? If you want to achieve big dreams, it's gonna come with some stress. And you're gonna lose sleep sometimes as well. You're gonna be up all night. That's what happened to me one of the days. I did not sleep. I just started my day the next day because I had not finished what I had to do. I had to keep going, and the next day I was continuing going. I was exhausted yesterday as well, so I did have to take a spa day to recharge my energy because I was completely done, not only physically but emotionally and mentally as well. But that's the power of my luxury spa days. It has the power to rejuvenate me and bring me back to my innate self, which is joyful, positive, and just high vibrational. And that's how I felt today, you know. Of course, since last night after my spa, which I did in the evening, and even throughout the day, I just did a lot of self-care activities that helped me come back to myself and ground the energy. Because again, the resurrection presentations that I did are not something that just anybody can say and do. And it's not just something also that just comes out, like I can just speak it whenever. It's a whole process to it, and it's a whole channeling to it that my body also takes a physical toll on. So there was a lot of that as well. So that's why part 3 I feel is like the most powerful one of all, because a lot of truths came out, and it's very short and sweet. Actually, it's only an hour. I did a gala event which was like about 20 minutes, so it's like an hour and 20 minutes total. You definitely don't want to miss out, and it was all intuitive. For the event, I just did bring in a little bit of the Bible for a resource, but we didn't stick too much to it. It was just mostly just intuitive and a channeling. So definitely watch it. They're all $11.11 when you go to christieramirez.com/lightworkeruniversity. And of course, you know, this is always a time of staying also in alignment with your health and wellness practices, something that I live by, not only preach by, but I actually live by it. So in addition to all of this that I was doing for soul coaching, on the side, I was actually also working on a little bit of some health and wellness projects. As you see here, I have my little baking project, which of course they are healthy little cupcakes. So of course that's going to be my snack as I'm working today. And I also did other desserts that I'm going to be doing special cute photo shoots as well, because I just thought it brought out like the Paris vibe. So I feel like the point of why I'm sharing this is that so much creativity is also rebirthing within us, and it's new ideas, and there are ideas though that have built off previous projects or previous ideas. So it's like we're building, we're continuously improving, right? Doing things better. Now if you want to apply this to something larger in your life, like maybe romantic relationship wise, maybe you've been practicing, like I said, because you know, in order for something to come out perfect, like this is my most perfect work that I've done. In addition to all the other desserts that I did this week, I felt like it was my best work ever. And I always say that, like, it's always the best work than the one previous before, because that's how it should be. We should always be evolving and getting better. This is about evolution, and not just spiritually and our soul wise, but also with our crafts and what we're good at, what our passions are, which is something that's coming up. Getting better at our passions and doing it with more love and grace. Those are the 2 secret ingredients that is going to make it better. It's very simple. So if you want a high vibrational, healthy relationship that's going to last a lifetime, put some more love and grace into it. Make it more natural. Make it go with the flow. That's how we manifest that, right? If you want to manifest your dream career, do all things with love and with more grace. Not so much tension, not so much force, because that's forcing something that might not be. This is a hard lesson that I've had to learn over these past couple years with my business. I learned, like, at the beginning actually, everything came out pretty smoothly because I wasn't really aware of like what I was still building. So I was just going with the flow and like just spontaneously putting on the camera and filming myself, you can say. And then that's when I started to evolve after that. And then I started to involve more of the artistic side of myself, because before this business, I was actually a very artistic person. But that was all I did, right? It was just art, no speaking. It was just like a complete silent girl, arts all day long, right? In different forms as well, not just like physical art, but like using my body for art, making artistic photography projects, things like that. And so later, like I think like the second year of my business, I started to incorporate both of these 2 talents, you know, the speaking talent that I was still enveloping and developing. And again, I wasn't so nervous because I was still just experimenting with it. And then I started doing the arts and then pretty much that's it, right? And so I was still not nervous. But then like now, like this 3rd year where I feel like I'm getting more better at this, I am trying to not bring in the perfection to it, because thinking of it as this is my final one and last. Because there's a lot of things that I have put myself as a goal to repeat and refilm, for example, because there were things missing that I had artistically created after I had taught the lessons or the courses, for example, like in my School of Light, for example, right? So there was missing pieces to the final result that I had uploaded the first year, because the second year I came up like with my logo, how to add it to the videos. I came up with interesting creative trailers and intros for each video. And like I just made it more professional and just made it all come together more nicely, right? And it gives like a whole energy to it and a whole experience to it as the viewer as well, watching these videos, taking in this spiritual information and guidance. It's like a whole experience, right? That's what I wanted to bring in. And so this third year in working with my business soul coaching and even my health and wellness brand, because that's evolved at the same time, I've now tried to bring in the perfection. But when you're trying to be perfect, it brings in a lot of anxiety. And that's what I've been struggling as an artist, is like anxiety, because I want things to be so perfect. But consciously, I know that it's not about the perfection, and I know that it's just about letting go and letting it be, because it will come out according to how God wants it to come out anyways, right? To divine will. And that is what I surrender. So if you're going to say that I'm trying to control the situation, it's not necessarily that. It's just like, it's like a channeling art. I guess an artist would understand this, because even like many of the previous, artists or scientists or geniuses or poets, or just back in the day, even like prophets, right? They all dealt with like this, it's just like this, I don't know, like a takeover almost, that you're channeling something and it is artistic at the same time. And it just brings in like almost like a nervous energy, because you have a vision that you want to create and you're trying to get everything together, but you're trying to do it in a perfect manner. So let's get to the point, and let me just say that this is still what the energy is. I feel like there is a little bit of a nervous tension with changes that are made, because this is just because of the changes that are being made to make it more perfect. And this can again apply to everything. Things that you have to do maybe for your business, for your job, for your career, for your dreams, for your passions. Maybe it does have to do with relationships. Whatever the case may be, the guidance that God is wanting to bring to us today is just embrace it, accept it, and it too shall pass. It will dissipate. I noticed that just when I just decided to just let go, not try to even rush the time, just let it be. Whatever time I finish is the time I finish. However it's supposed to be, it will be, right? And then it comes out better than I thought. And there's always something different than what I had envisioned originally, that was different but better. So that's how we know that God always knows best. God knows the perfect people that need to be in your life. God knows where you need to be at. God knows what you should be doing. God knows, etc. Everything that you need, all the tools in your toolbox. So today's guidance, and for this week ahead of us, this is the last week of October as well. And of course, on the next Monday, it is October 31st, which, you know what, I think in this week particularly, I'm going to add the 31st and then start November's spiritual guidance on Tuesday as well for next week, because I'm not sure what I might do on that day, on day one. Although I don't really celebrate Halloween, but I do like to do some creative photo shoots, bring in the spirituality and light to it. So I feel like this is the week's energy for all the way to the 31st, if I'm to be honest. And yeah, just to embrace the energy. Don't be too hard on yourself. Also, with the reflection that's been going on when it comes to your soul growth, maybe reflection on your past, don't be so hard on yourself either when it comes to that. Heal through it, see the compassion, and just learn from the lessons. And then that's how we can just grow and just be better people that has a story to tell, that we've all been through hardships. Nobody's perfect in this world. And as I'm just finishing today, there are fireworks outside this night. That's a beautiful sign that this is now the week where we're going to be able to celebrate the hard work that we've put into the mission, into our dreams. Remember, October is harvest season. And in my health and wellness brand, I think is so interesting, because I did film a spirituality retreat as well this weekend for the new moon that we have today on Tuesday, which is almost like the Halloween new moon, you can say. I also did a special meditation for harvesting and receiving and attracting our abundance. And part of this guidance today is, in order to harvest, is to stay also open-hearted. Stay open. Take away the stress or the tension, because that builds up walls. When you're forcing something, when you're expecting something in a rush, or you're expecting something to happen in a certain way right now, when it comes to either love, your career, money-related issues, don't expect and don't put a time limit on God. Let God surprise you. And that's going to serve us so well this week for staying in our peace, staying in our serenity, and having a beautiful experience in our sanctuary. That is where you're going to be the safest always, right? And I feel like we've been just perfecting also our sanctuary to make it feel more at home, to be able to return at home, which is to our innate soul inside, which is our higher self. Connect to your higher self, develop your spiritual gifts, focus on what makes you shine, what makes you joyful, and what makes you happy. Stay in love, stay in grace, and I'll see you all next week. Make sure that you do watch the Daily Morning Spiritual Guidance. Namaste.